First, take out 2 of these, 1, 2, and move the box. The first one we load into the syringe. The second one we put on here. Then slide it through there and add to the syringe. Lastly, open up the cap, take out the plug, insert it, and you're ready. Now remove the caliper from the bike by loosening the mounting bolts. This is to ensure the brake hose does not have any upward loops that may trap air bubbles. Now, remove the brake pads to prevent any fluid contaminating them. Do this by loosening the pad retaining screw and sliding them out. Be careful not to touch the brake pads, as natural oils on your hand also need to be kept away. Insert the spacer into the caliper to prevent the pistons touching. Start by loosening the bleeding bolt on the caliper, connecting the syringe. Be sure to tighten it well to avoid air seeping into the system. Then we undo the clamp. Now remove the bleeding bolt on the brake lever and mount the bleeding cup finger tight. Pour a little brake fluid into the bleeding cup and then pull out the plug so you don't let any air into the system. Now fill the cup. Do not overfill the bleeding cup and make sure there are no bubbles in the bleeding cup line. If you do, just flick the line of the cup to make that air rise up and out. Pull back on the syringe to draw fresh fluid through the lines. Pay attention to the color of the fluid coming out. If the brake is not maintained for a long time, the brake fluid will be dirty and grimy. It might even be black. Also, watch the syringe hose. If there are bubbles in the hose, gently tap the brake line. We really must avoid any air getting into the brake line. Keep drawing through more brake fluid until it runs clear. Keep an eye on the bleeding cup to ensure it doesn't run empty. Once the fluid runs clear, slowly press down on the syringe and then draw it out again. This is to ensure there are no bubbles in the system. Once you are sure that no air has entered the system and the brake fluid is fresh, you're ready to start sewing up. To remove the syringe, close the clamp, remove the syringe and tighten the bleeding bolt. Later, dispose of the waste brake fluid per local regulations. We work down to up, as that's the direction the air also moves. So the last steps are to insert the plug back into the bleeding cup and tighten the bleeding bolt that again seals the reservoir. We need to get rid of any residual brake fluid. This really cannot get near the brake pads or rotors, so wipe it up and clean using the alcohol cleaner to ensure there isn't any remaining residue that may contaminate these surfaces. Now reinstall the caliper, remove the spacer and reinstall the brake pads. Finally, adjust the angle of the brake lever back to your preferred position. If your brakes still aren't performing as expected, please check the troubleshooting on our channel, linked below. Now the brakes are good. It's time to get out there and enjoy the ride.